Hello and welcome to Learning from the Masters. So today we are going to be watching our good old friend CKBNIM. So it looks like CK has been on a roll. CK has been making it onto the leaderboards like for I think the past I'm going to say 3 to 4 consecutive days. So CK has been absolutely killing it. I'm hoping that playing it by full speed, and by full speed I mean actual speed, we're going to see some amazing stuff from CK and that his run does not get desynced. I also read yesterday that CK's pronouns are he, him. So I am going to be using the he, him pronouns for CK. If I find out that CK uses the they, them pronouns or the she, her pronouns, I'll use that instead. But for this, I will continue calling CK by him, he pronouns. Now, looking here, CK is running with the dagger. It looked like CK had the broadsword, but then after swamping it out, CK didn't want to go back for it. Whether it be like, okay, that'd be an extra move to get it back, or maybe CK's like, listen, I don't need the broadsword for this run. I don't know. What I do know is that CK is pretty skilled. We've seen how skilled CK is. We also know that CK, as I mentioned before, has been in the leaderboards. So like, CK know what CK's doing. So CK's doing some buffering here to kind of stall the dragon out. Why is CK stalling the dragon? I don't know. But I guess he's playing Ring Around the Rosie with the dragon and deciding to make the dragon go around in a circle. Or I guess more accurately in a square, because you can't really do circles in this game. Now we are in Zone 1, Death 2. And I guess CK's gonna check out the shop. There's nothing that catches CK's attention. I was wondering to see if CK would have maybe figured out a way to get those 2 hearts from the first shop. But I guess that's like an impossible amount of money to pay for 2 hearts, especially in the beginning of the game on Zone 1, Level 1. CK looks like they took a punishing hit from the ghost. So I'm glad to see that I'm not the only one capable of having these like little silly mistakes. CK did not take the flail, which is surprising. I mean, the flail, you can do really awesome things with it, but I guess CK doesn't really care for it. Now, it looks like CK here is just dancing around, trying to make those blood sacrifices. I wonder if CK is going to be luring those guys to the shrine. This is something I should have done, but like, I usually don't have the patience for this. And admittedly, I don't always remember what the shrine is for. Now that I see it, you know, those 2 items, 2 out of those 3 items would have been awesome for me. So maybe I should take those blood sacrifices a little bit more seriously. Now I'm wondering if CK is going to just do the straightaway, bring the box down. Yep, that box has a bomb. I know it, not because I'm psychic, but because I did this daily run. Now let's see here. CK is going to take all the items. Really amazing how CK was able to just grab all those items all at once. Actually, now looking at the item set, it looks like you only get to pick 1 out of the 3 items that show up. CK looks like they're killing the shopkeeper. This could be the reason why CK kept the dagger. Maybe CK is most comfortable with killing the shopkeeper when it comes to the dagger as opposed to the flail. Maybe the flail adds an extra level of complexity that, you know, CK does not want to deal with. Looks like CK is transmuting the items, trying to see what would work best here. CK is going for the Ring of War, the Blood Drum, and the Ham. And then, I'm surprised he's not going with the Flame Torch, but then again, that Candle Torch is great. From what I remember, it allows you to see all the walls, which works out brilliantly because it's kind of like having a map. Like, I love this. And because CK did not kill the boss monster in the previous floor, CK's kind of being like punished with that little boss battle. But honestly, I don't think CK cares. CK did take a hit from that skeleton, but CK, like most score runners and most of these experts, they can handle taking a hit or 2. They don't panic. They don't like flail around and make mistakes. They just take a deep breath and move on. These guys can be running around with just a half heart and still be, you know, as chill as rain. So let's see what CK is going for here. I would have gone with the pickaxe. I really do like being able to dig and not rely on bombs all the time. But looks like CK does not mind. I mean, admittedly, the pickaxe does add an additional, like, turn to make those digs. But it looks like CK went for it anyway. Looks like CK is going for the pickaxe. Maybe they just wanted to wait a little bit. I mean, they just killed that shopkeep. Quite incredible. I don't know how CK did it. It kind of happened a little bit too quickly for my eyes. And CK just abandoned the pickaxe. Why? I don't know. But looks like CK is doing whatever CK wants to do. And CK is a score runner master. So I'm not going to question why CK does certain things. I'm just going to accept it as the truth. And like, that's just the best gameplay for CK. I know ultimately CK is going to want that blood shovel. But like, why not take the pickaxe while you have it, you know? Like, that's just my question there. Like, if I could take a pickaxe, I would. And it's interesting to see that when he attacked the Minotaur suddenly went in a different direction. I don't think that's the Ring of War that does it, but I could be mistaken. I don't know. That's some great buffering by CK to get that orange blob to get to exactly where CK wanted them. And now here is the first boss. And it looks like it's the conga line. So let's see how CK handles it. Looks like CK is doing it by focusing on one line over the other. And I guess when you have a dagger, this is kind of like an optimal strategy. They're kind of doing their enemy line management here. And they're doing a really good job. And by they, I mean CK. But yeah, CK's just handling it really well. I'm just wondering why CK's bothering doing all this like bouncing around. But I guess that's because CK knew that that zombie was gonna start skipping squares. It just may have been all really intentional movement because CK wanted that flawless victory and not to take any hits. I mean, if I was that skilled, I wouldn't want to take any hits either. That extra gold is really nice. Alright, so CK now is in Zone 2, Level 1. And it looks like CK is going to be looking and shopping. Now, I would get the Shovel of Strength. Hopefully CK goes for it. CK does go for it, and CK takes the opportunity to completely obliterate the shopkeeper. And here CK is already starting with the bomb strats. Why not start getting those gold walls while they still can? So I'm thinking that CK is probably using the drum. And that's how the flailing back is happening. Either that or I'm completely wrong about the whole Ring of War not doing the pushback. I could have sworn Ring of War only like increased damage and number of enemies on the floor. But it could be that the Ring of War also does some pushback. I think it's happening a little bit too frequently to just be, you know, the drum. It could also be the shovel. You know, I have no idea. So CK went to get that blast helm because the blast helm gives you some automatic bombs, and then CK switched back for the Crown of Greed. It's an amazing move because that way CK can get the bombs that he needs to be bursting at the shop walls, and at the same time still be able to keep his crown. So good play from CK. I wonder what else CK is looking for. If I was CK, I would have hit that speed up just because I feel like at this point CK is just doing some cleanup. I'm also wondering why CK is stuck with the lead boots. I know that for me, the lead boots are great. But I think for score runners, the ballet shoes are even better because you don't lose any multipliers. Thus, you don't lose any of the coin multipliers. But maybe CK is just that confident that they're not going to lose any multipliers. And they're bracing themselves for the fire and ice stage. So that way they can step on ice and not lose their multiplier. So, multiple reasons. I can't read CK's mind, but I'm assuming that's what's going on. Alright, CK is attacking the moles, and CK is just using their gold broadsword for doing major damage. Now they have the nightmare. I wonder if they're trying to lure the nightmare to do anything. Like, I don't know, maybe destroy some shop walls? But I don't think the nightmare is capable of doing that, but I guess we're about to see. Or not, you know. So CK did activate the leprechaun. The leprechaun is making piles and piles of gold. If this was Biggie, Biggie would find a way to dupe all these gold coins. But this is CK. CK doesn't need duping. CK just needs to be awesome. Oh, I could have read what the Ring of War does. But it looks like CK is keeping the mysterious weapon. I'm wondering if it, like, doubles up. So, like, CK gets the perks of that gold weapon, as well as the effects of the ring. I don't know. These are questions I never thought about asking until I'm watching CK stuff right now. How do these items overlap? What takes precedence over the other? Are we going to see that Ring of War come back? We are not. Okay, so CK is using the bombs. CK is just verifying, I guess, if these are explosive mushrooms or not. I've been told that you can tell by just the color, but I guess just like CK, my favorite method is just hitting the mushroom and seeing if it goes kaboom or not. For me, that's the most optimal way, and I think that's the most optimal way for CK as well. So CK is destroying more walls. I'm wondering if there's anything in particular that CK is looking for, besides, I don't know, secrets? And more enemies, obviously, because CK gets a bonus, I guess, like 3 coins for any enemy that they kill, plus any coins that they get from killing the enemy as well, because of their multiplier. So really, CK is doing a great job. Already at 3k gold. We're at the 2nd floor. We have a lot more to watch if this doesn't desynchronize. Once again, we are watching this at normal speed to decrease the amount of chances for a playthrough to get suddenly desynced. Now we're going to see if CK takes the armor. CK does take the armor, because obsidian armor is better than no armor at all. But I've heard that it's not the best kind of armor. So CK is using his bombs to blow up the walls, and then is just collecting those gold coins. We'd love to see it. And that's some silence. So I'm just gonna continue watching. Not sure if there's any cool stories for me to share with you guys while CK just does his thing. Part of me is unsure whether I'm gonna cut this or I'm gonna continue with this. I think some people do like watching the full playthroughs. I kind of always just like watching to see what is interesting and what is new. But all this is pretty fair share. So CK here is just killing enemies. I did like seeing how CK handled that fire dragon. And I'm wondering if, because CK has these lead boots, that's why all the traps are now just square boxes. Because at this point they've become pretty much irrelevant. And I think that's the case. So CK is now playing at a slower speed, but CK obviously did not want to miss out on any coins. I wonder if CK is going to do that speedrunner strat, but no, CK is not going to the next floor. CK is going to kill everybody that he can find, and that is absolutely fine. Each one of these kills is almost like 50 coins anyway. That was a great kill of a doppelganger. This is going to be a little tricky, but CK did it well. And now CK killed the golems. CK had just that one armadillo, the mimic. And is there anything else for CK to kill? I guess CK believes so. They just made a quick shortcut to the shop. Are they going to blow up some shop walls? They are going to blow up some shop walls. Leave it to CK for milking every beat for what it's worth. Alright, so we got one of my least favorite boss battles. And this is... oh my gosh, I forgot what his name is, but it's my least favorite boss guy. CK killed him with one hit, and I'm wondering what CK is going for. CK debated for that tome, but I guess CK at the end was like, nah, brah, I don't need that. Oof. So that spirit for me is starting to get me every single time I play this stage. Especially because for me, the biggest issue I encounter is that I'll attack that spirit. That spirit will appear in the wall. And then I will try to attack the wall, which doesn't work. Which instead results in the spirit attacking me. And it's really like a nice touch that whenever the icy floor gets a bomb, that becomes a puddle of water as opposed to just destroying the ice. So I think that's a really nice touch by Brace Yourself Games. Really like seeing things like that. Another really nice touch specifically for these levels is just that the music changes just ever so slightly. So let's see if they use the Shopkeeper Familiar. CK does decide to use the Shopkeeper Familiar. This might come in handy. CK is going to probably activate the monsters that show up in this. Just because that's extra gold. But let's see which one of these CK goes for. They are going for the whole using the blood drum to dig into the walls. Brave and bold move, something I wouldn't do because, you know, I like to live. But these score runners are not afraid. They just kind of do whatever they want and like they don't care about taking a little risk. So now CK has the glass armor set. And I thought CK blew up the walls, but I guess when you defeat the monsters, the gold walls respawn? I'm assuming because the room gets bigger. Maybe that's why. I never really realized it before, but I really don't see a lot of instances of people doing that. Are they going to use the Rat Familiar? I guess CK is not going for the Rat Familiar. I mean, I think the piercing damage is nice. I would have taken it. But I take almost any little perk I can get to help me get through these levels a little bit better. And the Familiars are such an easy way to get those perks. So that way it's one less thing for you to do. Whether it be collecting gold, killing enemies, freezing enemies. Like, the Familiars really do help out by occupying that second slot and really just doing the dirty work for you. So let's see here. CK looks like they're just waiting for that ice spirit to come around. That's a mimic. They avoided it perfectly. They took care of the nightmare. And I guess they're just right now here trying to figure out how to best manage the enemies coming for them. I think they're more interested in the shop than actually, you know, fighting the enemies. But like at that same note, like, why destroy that particular wall when you know the enemies are gonna go for it? I don't know. That would be like the last wall for me to destroy because I would like not want to waste my time with the enemies, but that's just me. You know, I'm just like non-confrontational, like as a point. Now let's see here. They're using the bomb and they're collecting all their coins. Gotta say, this is really all nice and good. Alrighty, so there's the pusher guy. They absolutely got that barrel. Usually I'm very bad with the mimic barrels. In the beat that the barrel is revealed, or the item within the barrel is revealed, is not enough time for me to realize friend or item, foe or item. I usually can't figure that out immediately. But these score runners, they're able to do those like split decisions, which is amazing. I usually never suspect any barrel of having bad stuff, which is why it always surprises me whenever I find it. Alright, so here CK is just managing their enemies and just obliterating anyone who comes in their way. They still have their ghost armor, not ghost armor, wow, their glass armor. And they're doing a really good job on maintaining that. So here, they picked up the obsidian broadsword, but like immediately regretted it and then took back their gold sword. And the reason being is that they get extra 3 gold for every kill with the broadsword, with the gold broadsword specifically. Well, it doesn't matter what kind of weapon, but all gold weapons net you extra gold per kill. So that's 1 kill of the shopkeeper, so they can get the gluttony charm. Looks like here CK is just, you know, taking all that damage because CK knows he has some cookies. I'm wondering if they're gonna try to overheal so they can get extra hearts. But looks like CK is not interested in overhealing. CK is just interested in that gold. You know, let's just say it here. CK is definitely a gold digger. You see what I did there? Of course he did. Alright, looks like a desync happened. Either that or a misplay. Because CK just lost their armor. I'm thinking the gameplay looks a little bit too wonky though. So that was definitely a desync. We got down to zone 3, level 3. Which is a bummer. I just keep hoping that by playing these things at full speed, we do get the full game. But unfortunately, this is just the way of things. This is just how the replay works. It's such a genius idea by Brace Yourself Games, because you can have so many replays stored at like really a fraction of the memory space. But it just heavily risks the whole replay being corrupted and messed up and desynced, and you know, other players not being able to watch the full play, which is okay. You know, there's probably just 1% or 0.1% of us who actually go back and watch these replays. I'm sure the majority of the community doesn't even bother. And those who are interested in their replays probably stream it and have a recording of their runs, or have an amazing computer that can record their runs as they're playing it. I am in neither of those camps. I have a humble MacBook Pro. I do eventually want one with the M1 chip, so that way, you know, maybe it decreases the lag, but who knows? Either way, I'm just glad you're here with me. Remember that you are loved, and I hope you have an amazing day. Bye!